I think there are definitely some things that are still, I guarantee, are going to surprise players, and in different ways than the first game. It's definitely not the kind of thing where we looked at it and said, well, the first game, it had this one twist, so this game's got to have the same twist. Like, no, you're not going to see it coming what happens in this game, and it's very different than how it worked out in BioShock 1. In the first game, it felt sort of like, hey, I killed some girls, and so some splicers got a nuclear sub, and it's like, what is that? It didn't necessarily resonate on a personal level, whereas the end games in BioShock 2, I think, number one, they're based on a deeper set of circumstances than just whether you harvested or saved these little sisters. And there's also a lot more depth to them and sort of more ways they can go. It's not just a light ending, dark ending kind of thing. So I definitely think by the time you finish the game, you're going to feel like what you did really mattered. The AIs are just a lot more connected to the world of Rapture. So, for example, with the Brute character, he can jump up and down from balconies. He can pick up physics objects in the world and throw them at you. So if you're fighting him and he's across the room and he sees a chair there, he's going to pick it up and throw it at you in a really cool way that you just don't see in other games. It's not a magic, pick a magical object out of the ground thing. It's like, no, he's going to go to that thing, pick it up and throw it at you. The Big Sister does a lot of the same stuff. She'll use telekinesis to draw things from the environment and throw them at you. She can jump up on the wall and kick off to do an attack. The spider splicers can now jump on the walls. Human characters can take cover, either standing cover or kind of ducking behind cover. So just across the board, all of the AIs now have a lot of new abilities that basically show that they're sort of inhabiting the world the same way you are. You don't have that sense that, okay, I'm aware of my environment, I know how to use it. These characters are just going to stand in the middle of the room and shoot me with a gun. It's like, no, they're aware of the environment too. They're going to use it, for their advantage as well. There's definitely the fact that, as a big daddy, you're going to be more powerful against your average, like, one guy holding a pipe. Yeah, you're gonna take him down even easier than you did in the first game. So the characters we added were all sort of the top end of the spectrum, and we ramp up to those characters a lot faster in BioShock 2 than we did in BioShock 1. So we've got the Big Sister, who's even more fearsome than the Big Daddies. We do have a new Big Daddy type who's tougher than the other Big Daddies you saw in the demo today. We have the Brute character, who is like really kind of a hulking beast that's going to pound on you. We've got another character that we haven't announced, which I guess at this point people just see him when they play the game. But he's towards the back end of the game, very powerful character, has some story resonance with the player as well. So we really kind of approach it as, let's add some more powerful characters, and then those lower level characters, let's either put them in more interesting scenarios or have more of them that you have to fight at once so that it is a little bit more difficult. And then we did give them some improvements. So, for example, all of those characters can now throw grenades, whereas in the first game there was one character who's throwing grenades and the rest of them just had a pistol and that's it. Well, now the pistol guy can duck behind cover, throw grenades, the machine gun guy can do the same thing. So all those characters do have some enhanced abilities as well. It's definitely a much better game than if it was released in November. It wasn't ready, and it's really great that 2K supports and respects that, because that's not an easy decision to make. That's millions of dollars to continue the project for that long. So it's really impressive. And we actually got the extension after we'd sort of hit a major milestone on the game where we put all the content in. And the extra time really just allowed us to refine what was there and take a step back from it and say, okay, does the story really make sense to people, or are there things we can do to make it even more resonant? So, we rewrote some bits, re-recorded some lines, did some, new environmental storytelling in the levels to really convey the story and make it more something that was in the world as opposed to just people talking at you. So the story really benefited a lot. We also took some of the AIs and added in behaviors that we had previously cut, and we kind of put them back in, like small improvements, but just little things that sort of rounded off those sharp edges. I know that with the level design, they were able to just make some enhancements and tweaks and just rework some areas for gameplay just a little bit more and add a little bit more environmental storytelling. And overall, it was not any huge major shifts that we just said, hey, we're going to make a whole new level, or we're going to completely change the story, or we're going to do this, that, or the other. It was a lot more, okay, everything's sort of up to here on a quality bar. How do we take everything up to here on the quality bar? And that just raises the whole experience. So, it was a lot of little things, but it really made all the difference.